We want to make sure that we get the right information to you so that you can make the right decisions. But then we feel, we emote, we are passionate about some things. And you should also, because that's what gets us up each and every morning to do what it is that we've been called to do. But then we also need some deliverables, some takeaways, some homework assignments. You got to put your hands to the gospel plow in order for you to move forward and to be successful in whatever endeavor that you choose. Family, we're excited to talk about on today the differences between being an employee and a employer. Employee, employer, being self-employed or working for the man. Oftentimes people punch that proverbial clock. Most of us, our parents, depending on how old you are, have that philosophy where you go to school, you get a good education, you go to college, maybe get an advanced degree, and then you get out in the work world and you work for a Fortune 500 corporation. Keep your nose clean, keep your head down, and you'll be there for about 30 years. And then you'll get to retire with that gold watch and that wonderful pension. And all along, they're paying for your health insurance. Ooh, oh, happy day. But some people have not been called to such a thing. Christina, Chaunel Christina, Chaunel Christine. Chaunel Christine. Yeah, this Lexi.
How many ways can you say it? Yeah.
Is here in the studio with us. And she has had some
divine revelations.
Yeah, with regards to working for the man. I think she said that she loved working for the man, and she loved massa, and massa was wonderful to her, and she was a good house person, and she just had a wonderful, absolutely phenomenal time in corporate America. Was that the case, my dear?
It was not.
No? Oh, okay.
I see.
That wasn't the case.
But you light skin. I figured, you sort of like that kind of gig.
Bless him.
At least you were inside with the AC. You weren't outside picking nothing. You were good, right?
She was inside with a fan.
Introduce yourself to our listeners.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chaunel Christine. Hello.
Tell us about your experiences as it relates to working for the man.
Sure. So, just like you said, growing up, you watch your parents, your grandparents, they work, they have jobs in the same place for 20, 30, 40 years. They retire, they get a pension, they get medical, supplemented by some Medicare. So I was on the track to climbing the corporate ladder and identifying what that corporation was going to be and where I was going to spend the next 20, 25 years. And awesome. Then, bam.
Bam.
You woke up.
I did. Yeah, it was devastating. I used the word devastating because for me, it was devastating.
Why?
I'm a planner. And so I did not plan to hop from organization to organization. I didn't plan to definitely own a business at this stage. I did not,
But the boss man didn't plan for you to mess up on the job and cost them millions of dollars.
Well, I didn't do that either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That is not my story, America. That is not my story.
He will fill in a blank in a heartbeat. You're going to have to make sure.
No, that was not my story.
See, you could have won the lottery, but he ain't going to ever go on the positive. He going to dish out dirt. So make sure you fill in all
I'm going to need him not to tell nobody if I won the lottery. Don't call me for no money.
Cost you if you don't want him to tell.
He won't know it then.
Let me give you her address. It is.
No. He will give out your information.
Right. Didn't I sign a disclaimer or something?
Or some type of privacy and confidentiality notice.
Right.
No.
But what transitioned you?
So what happened is maybe in 2011, I realized that being excellent at what I do wasn't enough. That it wasn't enough to climb that corporate ladder, right? I realized that relationships were critical.
Absolutely.
And then I was watching
what you know is who you know.
And I was watching people, I'm just going to be honest about it, who had less
to the top.
Right? No.
She's like, I told you, fill in the blank before he knew.
I'm going to have to listen to you more intently before I agree. But
People do that though.
I was observing other people less qualified and capable, climb that ladder and get opportunities that I felt like I should have exposure to, right? And then I realized that it wasn't as much about how hard you work or how well you do what you do anymore, like it was with my grandparents and my parents, right? It was like, who can you build this relationship to?
Absolutely.
You know, or who can you get close to? What can you do for that person?
Right.
And even though you can make them look good, it wasn't like in the work make them look good. It's like, how can you make me look good in the presence of other people?
Absolutely.
Well, that was difficult for me because,
Y'all ugly.
well,
You want me to make you look good.
I don't do. I struggle. Let me say, I don't do. I struggle with fluff and stroking egos.
Ooh, girl, kiss the ring.
And you know, and authenticity.
Move your hand forward. I hit
I
it.
don't have a ring on.
Oh
so-
my God.
Get started. Baby steps, baby steps.
You know, I felt like doing it that way was inauthentic. You know, superficial, right?
Absolutely.
And so it just didn't go with my personality style. And so I had two things going on. The revelation that 15, 20, 30 years at one organization was not going to be my story. And the revelation that you're going to need to alter some things, which in the beginning sounded like compromise, right? Compromise. That's how it sounded in the beginning. But I got past that. With the help of a wonderful personality assessment and a great mentor who introduced me to that personality assessment.
Wonderful.
I gained some awareness and I began to understand the benefit and not locking myself into one organization.
Back up.
Sure.
The ability to climb the corporate ladder. Did you face racism in that process where the counterparts were Caucasian and
Or
they were
sexism.
the ones, or sexism, or
So I'm gonna tell you
was
that that was the case, but I have never, and still to today, do not classify it or categorize it as racism.
okay,
My profession, my background is in human resources and specifically employee relations on the side of employment law and investigations. So I have heard people claim discrimination so much that is not my filter. I don't filter through that first. Let me say that.
although it could be the reality.
Although it could be the reality, it's not my first filter. And so I look at that, my situation, not every situation and not anyone else's situation, but my situation is that would have been the easy thing to do, is to say that I was being discriminated against because the people that I was seeing climb this ladder were of a different color, a different race, a different sex sometimes than myself. And so what I did though is I sought out a mentor who was my color, who was climbing that ladder like crazy.
Wonderful.
And I said, can you help me? And he did.
What was he doing that you weren't doing that caused him to climb the ladder and you couldn't?
He learned how to flex. He learned how to adjust. He learned how to communicate in a way that was receptive and allowed him to achieve the results that he was looking for.
He was a chameleon.
Yes.
Be all things to all people,
Yep.
such that you might be able to win some.
Yeah.
So in certain situations, certain circumstances, you have to adjust
Adjust.
and be able to be compatible with the chemistry of the person that you're trying to get in good with.
Yes, that's a good call out. The chemistry, right? And in order to be compatible with that chemistry, he had to have a certain level of self-awareness, right? Because it starts with you.
Right.
Anything that you want to achieve, anything that you want to do, anything that you want to accomplish, it starts with you. So that's where the mindset shift had to take place with me, and that it was no longer compromise, right? I needed to make some
had to
adjustments in order to get to the end goal.
I want to have you reiterate that many times, and I've worked in, the federal government, and many times people do cry racism. They look for whatever is negative to justify why they can't move up or why they were overlooked or what have you. They look at the negative and they focus on a solution to attack the negative. They never do what you did. You're the first person in all my lives of working to say that I sought help from someone that was doing what I wanted to do. They quickly look for somebody to combat what they couldn't do. They look for attorneys, they look for EEO, they look for counselors, they look for somebody to start a raid. But I think it's phenomenal that there's a process in you, and I don't know how to develop that in others, that says, wait, it may not just be me or them. It may not be them. First of all, I clock in 15 minutes late every day.
Right.
Don't nobody want to talk about that, but they picked her because she white. No, they picked her because they know she's 15 minutes early and she's going to be there. All your paperwork got misspelling on it, like your computer don't got spell check. But they picked him because he a man. He part of the man. They go to the same golf club. No, he knows how to spell check.
Right.
And I didn't say you know how to spell. He know how to use the tools that was given to him.
Which takes all of what? An extra 30 seconds,
all
right?
of it. Matter of fact, it do it for you. Click and drag. That's
Just
it.
turn the feature on, okay?
That's it.
Yeah.
But I think that that's phenomenal that there was a self-examination that happened before, because society literally beats it into social media. The news, everything screams racism, sexism, feminism. Everybody's got to complain about something, but none of those complaints start with self.
Right.
None start with self. So I commend you for you and your mentor. For somebody even being willing enough. I've sought mentors before, and coming from the government, it was always like, what's your agenda? It's like, I don't have an agenda, but that's our government mentality.
Oh, no, it's in the corporate world as well.
So, it's like, I'm not here for an agenda. Like, I want to learn. What you trying to learn? What you talking about?
And why you want to learn it.
And why, right. Like, first of all, I don't want to be mayor of nothing. Like, at all.
It is.
Right.
And let me tell you, I have yet to find another mentor.
I believe it.
I have yet to find another mentor. He was very confident in who he is.
Exactly.
I have unfortunately engaged people who look like me, who are of my same sex. And immediately there's what feels to me like intimidation or
That's
insecurity.
exactly
Instead of that, girl, I've been through what you've been through. So, yeah, I'm happy to help you.
Right. Let's lock arms. Let's walk through this together.
I've
Let's
offered
grow
coffee.
together.
Can I take you out to coffee? Can I take you out to
Collaboration
lunch?
over competition.
We might get through 2 emails, and then it's dead silence.
Yeah.
Dead silence.
Because once again, if I give you all of my tools, all of my secrets, all of my inside scoop, then guess what? Then you're going to get the promotion over me.
When there's more than enough for everybody to go around, right? Yeah.
But people don't want to lose what they have.
They don't.
Because they had to scratch and crawl and beg to get what they got. So now if they help you out, they feel that that's going to be taken away from them.
Right.
One of the things that I've learned over the years, I've never worked for anybody else. I've always been self-employed. And I've always had employees. So I've always had people work for me from day one.
Okay.
So I've never been in a situation where there wasn't somebody catering to my wants and my needs. The thing that I've always stressed with my staff, attitude will determine your altitude.
Right.
Attitude will determine your altitude, because as an employer, I'm going to be around you 8 hours a day. So guess what? I got to like you.
Right.
I don't care how skilled you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care that you can make backflips and make things happen. If I don't like you, I'm not going to hire you.
Right.
So there has to be chemistry. There has to be likability. And you have to be able to acclimate to me. I'm not dumbing myself down to you.
You have to be able to
I'm not
acclimate to
changing.
me.
Exactly. I'm not
Yes.
changing for you. I'm the boss. I'm the man. I'm the employer. I'm the check signer. So if you're going to be a part of my team, and that's what it is, my team.
Right.
You have to basically fit in where you can get in.
Right.
And make sure that you're able to deliver from an attitude perspective that's pleasing to me. Because I call the shots.
Now I'm going to flip the script for you. How do you balance that with the responsibility of being a leader, which entails more than giving directives,
Right.
but also developing, nurturing, encouraging, equipping? How do you balance that mindset with the responsibility of being a leader?
That's where, in my case, ministry comes in. I've always been a part of the church, been in the church, been ordained for 10 years as an elder. So from a ministry mindset, I have that counseling piece that's a part of me that allows me to sit down with people and to be able to be a good listener and to be able to help them achieve their goals, their aspirations, with respect to what it is that they're looking to do. I think where the problem has come in is that oftentimes the closer you allow somebody to you, that's when they take advantage of that closeness. And now they start to call in favors. And ooh, can I get a payroll advance? And ooh, can I borrow some money?
Unreasonable
and,
exceptions.
Exactly. It's like, well, just because I've ministered to you and I've let you in and I've helped you out of situations does not mean that you should take advantage of that scenario. And a lot of times people can't draw the line between personal and business, and where I can be a friend, I'm not your friend.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's a business. Results have to be made. Money has to be made. And it's all about the dollar. Because you can't call up Duke Energy or anybody else and say, what happened was.
Right.
And so didn't show up. And this wasn't done. Nobody wants to hear excuses or reasons, as valid as they may be. The building blew up.
Right.
We had a terrorist attack. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I still want my invoices paid.
Yes.
Is what they're going to be looking at. So everybody has a reason and an excuse. It's just a matter of letting them understand that at the end of the day, business is business.
Business is business.
And that balance comes in when your corporation gets to a certain point where you can't do that one-on-one anymore. Then that's where that structure comes in, where there are people with your same, with one, as a leader, they hold your vision, but they also understand the heart of ministry and compassion. So they are more reflective of the leader. And I think corporations kind of fall apart when people get in that position and then they try to outdo the leader. Like, I put you there because I now, when I had 12 people, I could sit with one-on-one, you know, once a month, do a drive-by, see how people are doing. I've got 244 now, which means I've got 20 directors.
Right.
And I need those directors to speak as I speak, say as I say, do as I do. And I've selected you because you're more of a reflection from the top of what has been given to me. And I think that the breakdown happens when that disconnect happens between the CEO, the president, the leader, and his directors. Either there's no more investment one with another.
Yes.
And you've just given them so much free reign that now they forgot that you were up there. And they're running the department well, but they're leaving carnage in the department. The work is getting done, but the souls are dying because there's no compassion and you're number driven. And I don't care about your baby, you know, you getting hit by a car. Where's my report?
Right.
You know, so I think that there always has to be a connection in a company with a leader, whether it's the leader with the direct employees or whether it's the leader with the people they put in charge over the direct employees.
I asked that question because, having been a leader with direct reports, one of the challenges that I experience and that some of my peer leaders experience is that balance between being the leader who gives the directives and sets the expectations and holds you accountable, and then the leader who is empathetic and compassionate and approachable, you know?
That's right.
And so what I've taken notice of is you see all of these memes and LinkedIn shares where people are saying, people don't leave good companies, bad companies, they leave bad leaders, right? But you don't see a lot of dissecting what those people consider to be
A bad leader.
Right.
a bad leader. I will tell you that I feel confident in saying 95% of the time that I sat down with an employee who had a complaint about a leader and claimed discrimination or harassment or just unfair treatment, it was because they disagreed with the leader holding them accountable
Absolutely.
for what they were supposed to deliver.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the aspect that I want to start attacking leadership from.
Right.
What about the leader?
Because at the end of the day, proof is in the pudding, and results are results.
Right.
And if that leader has been in position for years and has produced for years and has other people that look up to them and admire them and speak well of them, well, is there something wrong with the leader or is there something wrong with you?
Right.
Because
Well, I would say it goes the
apparently he has
same
a track record.
even for the new leader, though. You know.
Go
Did
ahead.
he stop?
Yeah,
us?
you're good.
Okay. So even for the new leader, in that they've shown the
You turned it
ability to,
He stopped it.
Okay.
I started exactly on the time y'all.
You wait for us to, when we wrap it up, and then you can stop it. It's okay if it's a few minutes over.
Okay.
Press
Yeah.
the stop broadcast button.
Yeah. That's just our countdown. And then we'll say, folks, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back, so on and so forth. It's okay if it goes a few minutes over. That's why we schedule it to be longer than just one.
All right. I apologize.